So yeah, my name is Mark. I work at the on the Disney streaming core billing team. That we'll just be going over, we'll be doing an interview today. The layout of the interview is we'll probably talk for like 5-10 minutes just about some of the experience that you've had on your resume, and then after that we'll do a coding exercise, which I mean we'll have about 45 minutes for. We don't have to take the whole 45 minutes, but just to go through some stuff. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I've been with Disney for about 3.5 years now. Mainly, working in Java and Scala. And I like to make fresh pasta and bake pies in my free time. So that's pretty much me. So yeah, do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself before we kick off?
Okay, good. I work as a Java developer since 2007. I worked with both
Okay.
full stack applications and more recently back-end applications using Spring, right? Uh,
Okay.
Besides that, I worked too with Angular and React application in a full stack environment together with Java and Spring, and with native applications for Android too. In my free time, I like to travel, go to gym, and eat a lot of burger and pizzas.
I like eating a lot of burgers too, so we have
It's
common.
amazing.
Yeah. Um, all right. I just have a couple questions. So just going through, so I see that a lot of your previous positions were bug corrections, and then the most recent position was, is it the American Health Company, the full stack remote?
Yes, yes. It's
Okay.
my
All right.
current position.
Do you want to tell me just a little bit about some of like a couple examples of like the bug fixes or corrections that you're doing for like nothing like that you can't share, but just give me like an
Okay.
overview of some of the things.
Okay, good. There I work as a full stack developer. The first tasks I did were on a legacy project that used Struts, which was a full
Hmm.
stack application. And more recent, I'm working with a React and Spring on the backend application. I did both bug corrections and add new functionalities to those systems. So add a entirely new screen, and on another situation I was just fixing some bug inside it. So all tasks like this, being a full stack developer and working with different systems there.
Got it. Okay. Um, Now going back to the Brazilian bank, or actually no, going to the international team. Wait, no, wait. Oh, no, it is the Brazilian bank. Can
Yes.
you tell me a little bit about the so it says there was an architectural issue in the code. This is the one for Stefanini.
Yes,
Um,
Stephanie.
yeah, so there was an architectural issue in which, you helped to improve on. Um, can you just tell me a little bit about maybe like the lead up to like finding out what the issue was, and then like how it was handled after that?
Okay. Well, in fact, this project at Stefanini was one we were building from the scratch. So
Hmm.
there were some architectural decisions that needed to be made at the time. So, for instance, for the front end, if we were using React or Angular, we finally decided to use the Angular after it was a debate inside the entire team, not only myself, of course. For the backend, we had some questions about the way to retrieve data from the database system, which was a relational database at that time. So we didn't know if it was better to use stored procedures or to use the Spring Data repositories. So at the end, we had to use sometimes stored procedure and sometimes the Spring Data because of internal policies of the client. So those
Okay.
were the main decisions. But most of the work I did there was to implement software, implement functionalities and new screens, this kind of work.
Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. That sounds good. Excuse me.
Okay.
So just some general, all right. So moving off of the resume, just some general questions. So it seems like obviously you've had a lot of bug fix experience and like, things like that. And then also some, as you just mentioned, experience at the start of a project, and, making some of the bigger decisions at the front. Would you say that your positions are mostly, are they bug fixes like from an on-call position, or are they bug fixes from as a developer getting maybe like QA bugs or like, probably like reported bugs and fixing them?
Okay. Well, both scenarios. Most of the time, it was related by users, final users. So,
Yeah.
not only on those experiences, but in general, my career. Sometimes I worked at some companies as a, I don't know how to say that in English, but that person who receives a ticket of a bug in production and have to implement a hot fix. I was
Okay.
part
Yeah.
of those teams too through my career
Yeah.
sometimes, so that's a scenario I'm using to work, and of course the other role to develop new things, and sometimes the QA reports the bugs back. But
Got it.
so I got both scenarios.
Got it. Um, and so, can you tell me a little bit? So, like, when you like, let's say in your most recent job, or do you? Can you tell me a little bit about like the testing procedure that you'll use for the bug fixes, or like like once you develop something, sort of what do you do from there? Like, okay, so you implemented the solution, and how do you know that it works?
Okay. Well, the first thing I do when I need to fix a bug, I try to reproduce that history on my
Mm-hmm.
machine. Sometimes that's not possible, so but that's the first thing I attempt to do. Try to reproduce the issue. Being
Mm-hmm.
possible or not, when I implement a solution, I test it before on my machine. Of course, depending on the project, I have automated tests to make sure that it works. But I always try to run locally when it's possible, of course, and see if my solution worked. And then once it goes to, it depends on the scenario. Sometimes it goes to a validation server, not the production server yet. So if
Mm-hmm.
I do have access, I test there before asking QA people to do their tests. And
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to production, I usually don't have access to that, but I always ask my manager or someone who does, so he can test on production to see if everything is okay before telling the final client to make the tests.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, one more question. So I see that you have, familiarity with microservices, and then a lot of the Disney infrastructure or architecture that we'd be dealing with are microservices. Like for example, the tax team, is a small service that's reached out to by other services, and it's a good way to sort of like silo and make sure that things are cohesive, and control coupling. Um, One of the things about microservices is that it often also leads to multiple teams that own them, and that's kind of what Disney has right now. We have lots of teams that own lots of services. So it's like, are you can you tell me about some times that you've had experience with maybe like communicating with multiple teams, and then like do you think that there's any ways that you found helpful to maintain strong communication with those teams?
Okay. Well, the experience before this one, which was a Brazilian banking company, there it was a big company, and you have exactly this scenario. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different services, and our application needs to call third-party services. So the communication was very crucial on this scenario in order to obtain the needed information. And sometimes a thing that happens a lot is the microservice on the development environment gets some change or goes offline, and then our tests got blocked. So I go to the people from other team and say, hey, please can you take a look at
Yeah.
this microservice here to fix.
Yeah,
So
I'm very
this
used to
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. When we use microservices environment, we have a ways to do this communication in order to get things working properly. So that's a common practice. I remember that before this experience, it is even before IBM, so it's not on my resume, I guess, because it was from the last 5 years. But before that, I was at an education company. It was a large team, but there we have a large room. Everybody was there in office, so it was very common to ask, "Hey, can you please fix that web service for me?" Then the person fix that. Sometimes try to use mocks instead of calling the actual microservice, calling I forgot the name of the tool we used. That I guess it was Mokun the tool. So it starts a server and with some the responses are there. The responses I'm expecting from my microservice. So instead of calling the actual microservice, I call this Mokon, and I
Hmm.
guarantee that I will always get valid information, so I can do my development and then in another phase integrate with the real services, because that saves a lot of time on these small problems we have.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. We do something very similar, over at Disney, especially with the mocking and stuff at different levels. Um, so we're going to move on to coding in a second. So the way that this is going to work is I have what's called a share pad. It's just like a very simple, little interface that we can code in. I'm going to send it your way. I'm going to ask, are you prepared could you share your screen while you do it?
Yes, for
Will you be
sure.
prepared to do it? Okay.
Uh,
And then
can I use Safari to access this link?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just a link. Should work with any browser. And then we'll go over the problem. And then once we go over it, I would just you just we can go obviously if you have any questions, we'll go over any questions, and we'll just kind of try to come to a solution. Yeah, within something like the next 45 minutes.
Okay.
So
Okay. Good.
I'm gonna send it over. I just sent it. Well, I'm sending it right now in Slack. And then when you get it and open it up, just press run at the top left to make sure that it's compiling for you.
Okay.
And then we can get started with that.
Let me just.
Did you get it's in the Zoom Slack?
Okay. Yes, I got it here, but the Zoom
The thing's in the
toolbar
way, like the
was
bar. Yeah.
at my way. Okay. So I will run.
Just yeah, run that just to make sure it's compiling. Waiting for remote server. Okay, perfect. That's just a print statement I put in. So this is going to be in Java, obviously. It's called longest running job. So, do you want to take a second to go over it? Like, do you want to read it first, and then we can go over it with any questions?
Okay. Good.
That part is that just comes with the share pad. So focus, beneath that is where we're going to be focused.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, and if you have questions, I know that this is your first time seeing the questions. So if you want to go over anything, you let me know.
Okay. Uh, for now, I'm just seeing how it got to this number, but so I have the name here. This name
Hmm.
goes into an ID, and then here I have the IDs with the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let me search for this.
Yeah, if you go down, scroll a little bit down. That's the example input. So each one of those would be, a different index and array like a string array that's passed in.
Okay, good. So this number here is not the same for this example, right? Because it
No,
says
it is. It is. Do you
is
see on line 26? That's where it is. Yeah.
okay. I see there are two IDs here. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. So for read logs. Okay, got it. So okay. Then I need to go through this string array here,
Mm-hmm.
reading the names of the jobs, their IDs. Okay, got it. So let's implement it. The first thing I need to do here is have a map. This map will be string to be name ID. I'll have a hash map for that here. Then so I always have the started word is where it defines the IDs for that name. So I will. Okay, let's go. So how can I do this? I will iterate over this map. This will not, of course, be the best solution, but we can make it better.
Yeah. No. Literally, honestly, yeah. If you want to talk me through like what you're thinking, it doesn't have to be perfect first try. We're just,
Okay, good. So if line dot starts with starting, then I have to find to do a parse from this line in order to take away this part and this part and just get the ID.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to find the string name. Let me think about it. So I got this line dot I guess it's index of not starting but started name. Okay, this will be fixed so I can count 0 1 2.
Yeah, so it will always follow this. So like it'll always be started and name equals and then whatever the name is equal to and then space and then run ID and then equals and then whatever the run is. So you can assume that they are all going to be like formatted correctly. So let's just assume that each one of them is formatted correctly.
Okay, so substring, I guess it's 12, but I can do a debugging to make sure. So like this, I will have what I want to do here. What I want to do here is I will get this part of the string, then I need to take off this part of it. So I will get name dot index of. I will need to run it and fix some bugs, but this is the general idea. So I will get the index of this. I will start it to an integer. Index. Then I will put name equals substring 0 index. Let me run it to see what happens. Then we can evolve the code. Just run it. Sorry, where
It's
the...
fine. Oh, I think we're missing a parenthesis,
Oh,
a
yeah.
close, or, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I just need one more position here in order to not get that equal signal.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so now I got the name of each job. Then I will need I can get the name. I will get the ID, the run ID. It will be index of name.index of the equal sign. Then I need the integer equal index. I will get the position of the equal sign. Then name.string equals index. Let me test to see if it is working properly. Okay. +1 to not get the equal sign. Okay, everything looks good, so I will add them into the map.
Mhm.
Name ID dot put name run ID. Okay. I will just check if everything is okay here. I will just keep it if I need
Okay.
to debug later. So dumpy logs. Oh, I have two IDs for dumpy logs.
Mhm.
So it says longest running. Okay, so I will need a list here of string. And then okay. I need to initialize this list. The dot get name equals new. Put name new list. Okay, and then name ID dot get dot add run ID. Let me test to see. Okay, so now I got the IDs
Mhm.
for each job name here. Okay, it seems to be okay. Grep. Okay, so for this part I got the mapping between the IDs. Now I will have another map. Okay. Which ones need to print the okay, so I will have another map. Which will be a list of integer. Okay, what's the best approach for that? Not a list, but just a simple map. This map will be the job name, Now the run ID, time map, run ID time. Okay, so here I have this if for the lines starting with started, so I will put another if for lines starting with the other word here ended. Let me. Okay. Okay, so if the line starts with ended, then I need to do get the run ID and time. Okay, so almost the same logic here. I will just copy paste, but later I can create a new method. Just to build the logic before first. So it will be got the 11th position. So I will get this. Okay, so instead of run ID here, I will have time. Let me just run it to see if it's okay. Okay, so I got that problem again, 12 here. Okay, so I got the ID and runtime for each ID. Okay, instead of changing this map here, I need to change run ID time. Run ID time. The name is not a good variable name for it, but there are a lot of occurrences. Okay, I will let it like this for now, and then I can make it better. What's the problem? Oh, okay, I don't need this. I don't need this. A simple but. It's not an integer, it's a string. It's time. Yeah, it's better to convert this time. Okay, let me rename those guys here. So it should be run ID. This one will be time string. Okay, so name you call it run ID.
And just watch on 85. You
Yes,
put run ID in the middle of name instead of replacing name.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Okay, so time string is in place of run ID. So time string integer dot value off maybe. Oh yes, I forgot to change it here. Here. It's a little hard without the ID.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit easier when you actually have a compiler. I know. Or a good ID.
Okay. 95.3.
So it looks like
Okay, okay. Sorry. 85. Time string. I need to throw a debugger here. Let me see what is inside this variable. 103. ID. I'm doing something wrong. Time string. Oh, I see. It's not from time string. It's from run ID. Okay. Instead of run ID, then it needs to be time string here. Okay. Okay. So let me check what it have put on this one. This code is a little messed here, but we can fix it later. So I have, let me clean my output. Okay, so yes, so now I got both the mapping between the IDs and process name and the runtime. Okay, but this runtime needs to be at least 2 or not. Let me check it here. No, it has just one run ID, right? Per ID. We cannot repeat the same ID again, right?
So you can't repeat the same, so you can't repeat the same ID. So each ID will be connected, but they may have the same, like, so you see how dump logs appears twice with this, with two different run IDs?
Yes, but each run ID is unique, right?
Yeah, is unique. It'll only appear once in a started and then once in an ended.
Okay, great. So I don't need a list here. I just do the mapping. Okay, now I will build the logic to figure out for each name here the high guest run for it. So how can I do that? I will do a for here to calculate the output. It will be string name from this map. Key set. So for each one this map I will get the ID. That will be a little bad solution, a lot of fors inside fors, but we can make it better later. Integer run ID. Name ID. Get. Okay, so this will iterate over here. I need an integer max equals 0. And what I will do is I'll get values from the second map. Let's get run ID. If it's bigger than max, integer time. Okay, so if this time is bigger than max, it should be my new max. Then it wants me to print the name and time. Okay, so let me start to build this output. So it says I have to have a header, no, right? So it will be a header here. And then inside issue 1, I'll do a print. What will be my print? It will be the name of the job. I will concatenate it. Sorry by that. With the max. Let me run to see what happens.
Oh wait, there's a single quote rather than a semicolon.
Yeah. Sorry for that.
It's okay. Yeah, no stress.
Okay, let me see what's wrong. Get. Oh yeah, for sure. NumID.get name. Not be converted to integer. Oh yes, it's a string, not an integer. Because it's an ID, we tend to think that it's an integer. Okay. Because it's on line 103. I need to check what's going on here. Okay, let me check for time variable values to see what happens. Okay, so I have there's one run ID without a time for it. Let me check for it.
Yeah, let's look at.
Yes, we don't have anything for this one. Okay, so.
Wait, let me check because it should.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It must have got removed. Right long. Okay, well, apologies for that. That's my fault.
Okay, no problem.
Started, and then we'll do. Okay, and I'm going to pass this. So can you replace,
Okay.
I'm gonna set this over Zoom. Can you put that as the, starting on line 42 as the example input?
Okay, let me put it there. Okay.
Wait, actually, can you do me one favor? At line 52, can you remove the space before the,
Okay.
yeah.
Right here.
There you go. The error also won't be picked up by your,
It seems to be working, even with this space, but
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Oh,
just
yeah, I guess because you're, okay, I understand.
I don't need those debug outputs anymore. Okay, so it, it works. It's not aligned, but maybe with another character here. Okay, so that
Okay,
is
there's one more aspect to it. It's the variable K. So if we go up, so you see int K there?
okay.
So we only, it says it in the description, we only want to print out the K number of results. So right now we're printing out the whole, like, all of the results. But like, let's say if we only wanted to print out two in any order, that's what the K represents. Does that make sense?
Okay, I did the name of the. Okay, so I will print the first two in this case, for instance.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we can have a control variable here for that. How can I call it? Printed results equals 0. If printed results bits don't know equals okay. I'll try with this, see if it works. No, not key. It needs to be. Why is this not working? Should be 0, 1, 2. Let me just put a debug here. I love to use debug on my.
Yeah, no,
I always
I do it the
develop
same exact way.
with breakpoints so I can be building my logic. What is that is not happening? It should be maybe I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, now it works. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's working now.
Yeah. Hey, Cristiano, this is great. So, I mean, I understand most of what you did. Do you want to just give me a walkthrough, the logic,
Okay.
and then after that, maybe we could just go over some stuff. But you want to just give me a walkthrough of, like, some of the reasoning?
Okay. At the first, I did not broke my code into other methods since I'm not on IDE. I guess that would generate new bugs. But in general lines, what I did is I get all the lines I got here as an input. Then at this first, if I separate the lines, extracting the mapping between the name of the process and the IDs which were generated on those lines which started where the IDs are generated. So, and to use the same for when it's not a line that started, I do else if. I may not need an if here, but just to make sure. If the line is when a process ended, then I capture the run ID of that process and the time it took to run. So, and with these two ifs and this for, I built the two mappings I have here. One is to map between the process name and process ID, and the other is a mapping between the process ID and the runtime. Once it's done, I start printing here the header of my output, as it's saying here, an example output. So it's not the same like that, because there is more something like this, you know. We just have a space and it's not aligned. So it's a change I could make. Then here I have this counter to limit the amount of lines will get printed according to the key variable. So here I go on my map for each process name. I start this variable where it stores the current max. It starts with 0 because the first one have nothing. Then for each process which that ID, which I got from this map name ID, which I built at the first if, I get the time from the second map, and then I do a comparison. This null is just to fix that situation we had before, but what matters here is that if the time of that process is higher than the max for that process name, then I found a new maximum. And once I finish it, I get the maximum here. I just do the printing of the process name and the time. And finally here I break when I reach the limit specified by key variable. So that's
Awesome.
I know it's not the best performance because I have a for inside a for here. Maybe I could think of another solution to get better performance, but it was the first one to solve the problem.
Okay. Well, we still have, like the next 5 minutes. Did you want to try to improve the performance, or do you want to give it a shot, or at least even if we don't code anything?
Okay.
So if again, it's not like necessary, but I don't mind going through it if you want. But I would say that one of the things is, so if we go up, can you go up to the two data structures? And then let's just look at the example. So you have the map of a string and a list of strings, and then you have the string and the integer map. So we have name ID and run ID time. So run ID. So I would say one of the things is, so what we're doing here is we're saving all of these things and then comparing them at the end. But what I would say is, why would we ever save something that we know is not the highest value? Does that make sense? Is there any way that we can do the comparison on the save?
For sure, we could do this comparison here. Maybe doing I can, for instance, get, I guess it's better to express it with code. So I can do something like this. I get from that run ID, so integer previous max, So if there is something already there, if previous max is not null and previous max is higher than the time I got, then I need to build a better logic here, but I could do the change in this point in order to just put a value if there is nothing there, or if the value is bigger than the one was previous there. This way I would not need this second for here anymore, because I will just have no, that's not correct, because here I have the run ID as the key and not so I need some logic here in order to check this situation. Given I found a runtime, I will take a look on the existing map, so it's not done this way simply. I will need to take a look on this other map. So this part could not be inside the same fort. I would need a fort to build this first one mapping. Once it's done, then I do another fort to get the run ID times, because then I can do the mapping between the current ID I have and the process name. So I will
Yeah.
only, so this way I will not have a for inside a for, which is a O, square O, I guess, the name
Yeah.
of the notation in English. And I will just have 3 fors, and that may be better performance depending
Yeah,
on
that sounds good.
situation.
No need to code that up, just like an exercise in thinking. But yeah, everything looks good. I like the solution was good, and that is how you would do it going forward. If you wanted to eliminate, you would get rid of the list, and you would save name to the current highest time, and then you would save the IDs that are that are running, and then when they end, you would just check to see if the time is higher than the current highest time. So you would have like a name to a run ID type thing, and then a name to a max value. So, but no, that really good job on the first iteration here. That was good. One thing I will say, and we're gonna close out in 2 seconds, and then we'll give some time for some more questions. But the way that you did the indexing was okay, but you can also have used the split functionality based on the space character. So, and then again, split on the, but the way you did it is good too, and arguably works. Both of them may be equivalent. It just may be easier, but that's really more of a nitpick, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, really good job. Really nice to see you completed this. Thank you for walking me through it. What your thinking was. So that was great. All right, you don't have to keep sharing your screen. So we have about 5 minutes left. I asked a bunch of questions. And I guess if you have anything that you want to know about the role, or if you have any questions for me about, Disney streaming in general,
Okay.
we have a couple minutes.
If you can talk a little bit about this position, what you are looking for.
So it's it's an entry level Java position, or not entry, well, it's a P1 Java position. So the thing is what I believe we're looking for is an engineer to sort of take on like how you have bug fixes, currently. So to get accustomed to the system, to primarily work on bug fixes, maybe handle on-call tasks as they come in, obviously with somebody else, as you learn the system. And then as you get more accustomed to things, just like working on smaller features and then like slowly working your way up to bigger features over time, at your pace in which you learn the system. So that's sort of what we would be looking for. A lot of Disney is a mix of Java and Scala. I don't believe you had Scala on your resume, but I think that the tax team, which is that you would be on, is mostly Java. And then also Disney has a lot of resources to learn Scala. If that would be something that interests you, it's definitely, at least, at Disney, it's a good thing to know. So it's one of the, something that if you wanted to, you could take advantage of those resources.
Okay, good. Sounds interesting. It sounds good for me to learn Scala. I already took a look on it. The people that interviewed me before you told me about that. It seems to be similar to Java, but with some difference, of course. So very good.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, it's like there's good resources at Disney, and they'll definitely help with that. So that's sort of the expectations on the team. I think that starting in more of an on-call position, and then working your way up with bug fixes and then small features. I think that's a good way to learn a domain. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Okay. No, from my side, that was everything.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it was really great, interviewing today, Cristiano. I hope to see you around. Okay.
Okay. It was very good to talk with you. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Oh, cara, que teste delicinha é esse, né? Gostei. Agora aguardar a resposta, né? Essa foi a última entrevista, aí foi uma bateria de 4 entrevistas, né? Começou na segunda passada Teve duas na quinta e aí agora a última hoje na segunda. Tomara que dê certo.